Werewolves. The name itself excites us myth lovers, right? For this reason, we love making videos on them. We have made videos on werewolf types and origins, and just as promised, we are back with werewolf legends. Werewolf legends have been a part of human culture for centuries, and they continue to capture our imaginations to this day. In many cultures, the idea of a human transforming into a wolf-like creature has been used to explain mysterious occurrences such as unexplained deaths or disappearances. The exact nature of werewolves varies depending on the culture and time period. In some legends, werewolves are seen as dangerous and malevolent creatures that hunt and kill humans. In others, they are portrayed as benevolent protectors or even as tragic figures who are cursed to transform into wolves against their will. Werewolf legends have been popularized in modern times through various forms of media, including movies, TV shows, and books. Some of the most famous modern examples include the Twilight series, the Underworld series, and the Teen Wolf TV show. Overall, werewolf legends are a fascinating and complex part of human culture to this day. Werewolf legends have been around for centuries, and they appear in the folklore of many cultures around the world. In many of these stories, a werewolf is a human who can transform into a wolf-like creature either voluntarily or involuntarily, or a mutant combination of human and wolf. But are thirsty beasts who cannot control their lust for killing people and animals. Here are a few examples of werewolf legends. Those familiar with werewolf lore might recognize the legend of Lycayon. Lycayon was the son of Pelasgus, who made a fatal flaw in serving Zeus the remains of a boy who was sacrificed. According to the legend, Zeus turned Lycayon and his two sons into wolves. This could have very well been the official starting point for the legends surrounding werewolves and wolf-like humans, but as with many legends throughout history, the legend of Lycayon would soon appear in another place. The legend of the Beast of Javadan. This is a famous werewolf legend from France in the 18th century. The story goes that a large wolf-like creature was attacking and killing people in the countryside. The tales of the disembodied corpses found strewn around the forest made the news not just in national papers but across the channel in London too. Some people claimed that it was a werewolf, while others believed it was a wild animal. The lurid details could have filled the pages of a horror novel. In 1767, a local farmer, Jean Chastel, apparently shot it dead. However, the hero then became the target of a witch hunt by conspiracy theorists claiming that the creature had belonged to him and that he had deliberately trained it to attack. The beast was eventually killed, but its true identity has never been confirmed. Legend of the Lobizon. The Lobizon, also written as El Lobizon or Lobizon, is the South American werewolf. The myth of the Lobizon mainly prevails in Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay. It stems from the Portuguese belief that the seventh son of a family of all boys would turn into a Lobizon on the night of a full moon, especially if it fell on a Friday. The origin of the Lobizon legend is in Guarani mythology. The Guarani are the indigenous people of Paraguay, whose mythology stated there were 7 monsters. Of the 7 monsters, the last one, known as Lobizon, had a horrendous appearance, although stories seem to say that it had no apparent resemblance with a wolf. And then it became known as the god of death. The legend of the Lobizon explained that if the monster passed between the legs of a person, it also became a Lobizon, and if it touched someone, it meant that soon he was going to die. The legend of the Ruguru. This is a werewolf legend from Louisiana in the United States. According to the legend, the Ruguru is a creature that is said to inhabit the swamps and forests of Louisiana. It is said to be a large wolf-like creature that can transform into a human. The legend states that if a person hears the sound of the Ruguru 3 times, they will become a Ruguru themselves. Ruguru legend is one of the most legendary and famous werewolf legends. The legend of Ruguru originated when French settlers settled in North America. The mythology has several versions, but it generally includes a witch doctor Bokor cursed or congenitally crippled for breaching a taboo. His physical appearance varies greatly depending on the storyteller's description, but he is about 2 feet tall, identified by his glowing red eyes, large claws and fangs, and has an insatiable appetite for raw meat and human blood. The Legend of the Loup Guru. This is a werewolf legend from French-speaking cultures. According to the legend, the Loup Guru is a person who has made a deal with the devil and has been cursed to transform into a werewolf every full moon. The Loup Guru is believed to be a cursed man. In the French-Canadian tradition, a Loup Guru is often guilty of not being a good Christian. For example, people who did not confess during Easter could be cursed to become werewolves. It is said that the only way to break the curse is to draw blood from the Loup Guru while it is in human form. The Legend of the Skinwalker. This is a werewolf legend from Navajo folklore in the United States. According to the legend, a skinwalker is a witch who can transform into an animal, including a wolf. The Navajo version is called the Ye Nadlushi, which translates to, "With it he goes on all fours." The skinwalker is said to have supernatural powers and is considered to be very dangerous. The Navajo skinwalker is believed to wander far across the American cultural landscape. Often reduced to a mere werewolf trope, this shadowy being frequently emerges in film, TV, and even conspiracy theories, yet the skinwalker's true nature belongs to the night. The Werewolf of Bedbug. This is a famous werewolf legend from Germany in the 16th century. The story goes that a man named Peter Stubb was accused of being a werewolf and of killing and eating several people. The community knew him as a pleasant enough widower and father of 2 adolescent children whose wealth ensured him a measure of respect and influence. But this was Peter Stubb's public face. His true nature erupted through some black scar in his soul to satisfy a bloodlust when he donned the skin of a wolf. The shocked and horrified townspeople feared that they were being victimized by a raving demon from hell, or just as bad, a bloodthirsty werewolf who lived among them. Thought now to be a werewolf, Stubb was brought to trial, and it was only under pain of torture on the rack that his confession to all of the heinous crimes came out, including sorcery, his consort with the devil, and the story of the magic belt. He was eventually captured, tried, and executed. The Wolf of Alaris. This is a werewolf legend from Spain in the 19th century. The story goes that a man named Manuel Blanco Romazanta was accused of being a werewolf and of killing and eating several people. He claimed that he was under a curse and had no control over his actions. He actually admitted that on full moon nights he would walk into the forest and crawl in the dark under the silver silhouettes of the mountains, waiting for his prey to arrive. When they fell into his trap, Romazanta dismembered them and fed on their corpses, allegedly controlled by the primitive instincts of a wolf. He spent days out in the woods, going through a transformation which, whether we believe it or not, was certainly bloody and disturbing. The Legend of the Volva. This is a werewolf legend from Scotland. According to the legend, the Volva is a creature that is said to inhabit the remote islands of Shetland. Described as a creature like a man with a wolf's head, he is a little bit different from werewolves. He had short brown hair all over him. His home was a cave dug out of the side of a steep knoll halfway up a hill. He didn't molest folk if folks didn't molest him. It is said that he is actually kind and gentle and often leaves fish on the doorsteps of poor families. The Morbach Monster. Morbach was a munition site just outside the village of Wittlich, Germany. They say that Wittlich is the last town where a werewolf was killed. There is a shrine just outside of town where a candle always burns. Legend has it that if the candle ever goes out, the werewolf will return. One night in 1988, a group of security policemen were on the way to their post at Morbach when they noticed that the candle was out at the shrine, and all joked about the monster. Later that night, alarms were received from a fence line sensor. When the security policemen investigated the call, one of them saw a huge dog-like animal stand up on its back legs, look at him, and jump over the 7.5-foot chain link fence. A military working dog was brought to the area where the creature was last seen, and the dog went nuts, not wanting anything to do with tracking the creature. Werewolf in Bisclaveret, France. The Werewolf in Bisclaveret is a 13th century French romance by Mary de France. Bisclaveret is a baron in Brittany loved by the king. He is a werewolf for no given reason. Each week, he disappears 3 days in werewolf form. After that, his magic clothing will bring him back to the human form. Having heard of the truth, the baroness conspires with a knight to steal her husband's clothing so that the baron could not change back. Then she marries the knight. At the end of the story, after certain events, the king finds out the truth and exiles the baroness and her knight. The Werewolf Story of Ireland. This is from the 12th century Irish folklore. A priest, accompanied by a boy, was travelling from Ulster to Meath. One night in the woods, a wolf approached the priest. As it came nearer, it began speaking of God. The priest became terrified and couldn't believe what he was seeing and hearing. The trembling priest asked the wolf what kind of creature was that he had the shape of a wolf but the words of a man. The wolf told the priest there was only one other creature like him, and it was his wife. They were the native people of Ossory, cursed by a saint named Natalis for some ancient sin. The curse compelled 2 Ossory people, a man and a woman, to take the wolf form and remain in that form every 7 years. After that period, 2 new people would take their place, and the prior 2 would return to human form. The wolf told the priest that his wife was very sick and dying. He was there to seek the priest's help in his wife's absolution. After all, they are just ordinary human beings under the wolf's skin. Well guys, that is all of the most common werewolf legends. In conclusion, we can say that werewolf legends have played a significant role in human culture throughout history. These legends have varied widely from culture to culture and have been used to explain a variety of phenomena. Despite the varying portrayals of werewolves and either viewed as creatures of horror or as tragic figures cursed by fate, werewolves continue to fascinate and intrigue us as a part of our shared cultural heritage. Like vampires, werewolves have been around for millennia, and nothing short of a silver bullet is likely to stop it from being around millennia more. If you have any other story or legend, or even just a different version of the above mentioned legends you would like to add, do let us know in the comment section down below, as it is always nice to learn something new. Thanks for watching guys, and please do not forget to support us by liking our videos and subscribing to the channel. See you soon.